presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Last year it was San Diego. Big G, what a show. But you know what? This year, the All-Star Game is coming to Miami. And coming to the booth tonight, a four-time All-Star, a Marlin legend, and a world champion, the Renaissance Man. Charles Johnson joins us tonight as the Marlins and the Pirates do it from Marlins Park. Lots of things to do on a Saturday in South Florida. Man, does that beach look nice. But we got baseball tonight, game 2 of a 3-game set. Pirates and Fish, come on inside to Marlins Park. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Game 1 did not go well for the Marlins. Boy, the Pittsburgh Pirates came in. They were a struggling offensive team. They arrive here tonight feeling pretty good about themselves.
Well, it doesn't change the mindset of the Marlins. You want to see them come out and play aggressive baseball. Yes, the starting pitching has not been good. Over 3 starts in a row, and ERA well over 10. But that doesn't matter. Dan Straley's on the mound tonight. And you know what? This Marlins team, you got to come out and play like you want it.
Here are some of the things that he has to combat tonight. You talk about the offense last night for the Pirates. Here's their resume from a big night.
12 runs. 18 hits, and I'll tell you what, after that 8-run second inning, I changed my perspective on this Pirates team. I mean, the numbers told you they were down and they were struggling, but that was not the case last night. Good at bat after good at bat, and even late in the ball game, you saw them taking deep into counts, not swinging at bad pitches. So that's what you're going to get tonight. They do have a little bit of power in that lineup, but you know what? I think you still stay aggressive and you get after these guys.
You mentioned Dan Straley. His last 2 starts, let's see. He took a no-hitter into the 6th, left with the no-hitter intact, and then he struck out 14 Padres for a career high. Those are the 2 starts he's riding into this one.
And you know what card I'm going to play on this one? That last game, that San Diego game, he struck out 9 of the last 11 Padres he faced after giving up a 2-run homer. That's bearing down and just getting nasty. It feels like, hey, that might be what you need tonight. After what happened last night, Dan Straley, he's been really good those first 2-3 innings of a ball game. Hope to see that again tonight.
And a big crowd expected. University of Miami night tonight. Charles Johnson, one of the Marlins All-Stars, will be with us in the booth as well. On an All-Star Saturday, Dan Straley talks about his start tonight as he takes on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Youngest prospect taking a shot at Billy with Sebastian the Ibis here on University of Miami night. Good night to be at the ballpark. Let's go out to center field. Craig Minervini, Jeff Conine.
Well, thank you, Rich, and Charles Johnson will join you later. We're happy to have him on our pregame show on our All-Star Saturday. Yeah, boy, Dan Straley has had All-Star form at least last couple of games. That's big for the Marlins. What has impressed you so much about him, and what were your thoughts of spring training when you got to know him a little bit?
Well, he's a very laid-back, cool kind of guy in the clubhouse and in the dugout. What we've seen so far is he could throw 3 pitches for strikes at any time. And when you look at the tape of his 14 strikeout performance, he used them all, and that's what gives hitters so much trouble.
He's impressive, and we had a chance to talk with him about this start as well.
Yeah, it's nice to be back home. It's always nice to be home, wherever that is. It was a long road trip in terms of travel, and you know, we didn't quite win as many games as we hoped, but really excited to be back home and hopefully turn things back around.
Do you consider yourself a strikeout pitcher, and why do you think you've been so effective at getting? And it's a big time, swing and a miss in a ball game. Sometimes it's key.
I mean, I've kind of always had that ability throughout my career, but I've always considered myself just a strike thrower, and you know, it's just a byproduct of throwing a lot of strikes. And the last game was a lot of fun. I mean, anytime you go out there and strike out 14, and that was just it's one of those moments you'll kind of hold on to as a player. But you know, as soon as that game's over, it's on to the next one, especially in the middle of the season. Going against the Pirates, any thoughts on that tomorrow? Excited. You know, it's a familiar ball club. Saw them 6 times last year, so it's always nice to have that kind of familiarity with the hitters when they step in the box. So.
And here he is, Dan Straley, who this year now has 24 strikeouts and 20 2/3. He's not your classic strikeout pitcher, but he did have 162 last year. My question for you, Niner, is this. He faced him 6 times last year. Not every hitter, but a lot of them. Is there an edge on one side or the other?
I would say for most pitchers, yes, there's probably an edge, but when you look at what Dan Straley does with the complement of his pitches, fastball, curveball, slider, changeup, he can throw them all for strikes. It's not so much.
Baseball game coming up here on Fox Sports Florida as Dan Straley is getting set for the start. And we'll have it for you. First pitch coming up, game 2 of this 3-game series on an All-Star Saturday in Miami. Next on Fox Sports Florida.
Dan Straley makes start number 5, and here's the lineup he will face for the Pirates. Man, were they hot last night with 12 runs. Josh Harrison, Josh Bell, Andrew McCutchen, Gregory Polanco, Francisco Cervelli, John Jaso, Jordy Mercer, Gift Ngope. What a night for him. First major league triple. And Ivan Nova will do the pitching. And here we go tonight in Miami. Straley misses down low.
There you go, Dan Straley making his 5th start, 3.92 ERA. A little misleading. He has been absolutely brilliant his last 2 times.
In the air, Ozuna makes the catch. What a 2-start run it's been. A no-hitter when he left in the 6th in one start and 14 punch-outs in the other.
Well, I mean, let me go there with that. I'm actually not surprised at the no-hitter attempt when you look at Dan Straley and his history. I mean, even this season so far, 20 innings pitched, he's only given up 13 hits. That doesn't surprise me. The strikeouts, they do sometimes. But you know what? When he was as good as he was in San Diego, they start to pile up. And boy, oh boy, was he strong at the end.
That's a strike. Good call by Tim Timmons. Hear it all the way up here.
Good enthusiasm.
Josh Bell fouls it back. The Pirates walked in here cold last night, but they heated up in a hurry. Bell was 1 for 3. Harrison had 3 hits. Andrew McCutchen a couple. Jose Ozuna, who's not in the lineup, had 4 hits. And that is strike 3 called. Dan Straley's got his first strikeout of the night.
All right, Dan Straley working fast. Let me get you the Marlins defense. Boy, he's got it in gear already. A couple of outs. Ozuna, Yelich, and Stanton in the outfield. Prado, Echeverria, D. Gordon back in the lineup tonight. Justin Bour over at first base. JT Realmuto and Dan Straley on the mound.
Andrew McCutchen pulls in. Now, last year, Andrew McCutchen and the Pirates saw an awful lot of Straley. Straley was busy breathing life back into his career. 2015, he was in the minor leagues for a good portion of the year. Revamped everything in the offseason, and he had a breakout season in Cincinnati. It was 14-8 with a 3.76 earning. In the air, Yelich. Dan Straley, 8 pitches. 1, 2, 3 go the Pirates. Tonight, Pirates and Fish. Ivan Nova, since becoming a Pirate, has been a dominant right-hander. Of course, a longtime Yankee, 7 years with the Yankees. Traded at the end of July, early August last year. And he's enjoyed his time in Pittsburgh. D. Gordon sprays one out to short. Jordy Mercer throws him out. Nova has an out on 1 pitch. Here's Miami's lineup tonight. The Fish, a game under at 10 and 11. Gordon in the leadoff spot. Martin Prado is hitting second. 4 hits from Yelich last night. Has pumped his average over 300. Giancarlo Stanton at right. Justin Bour is at first base. Marcell Ozuna in left. JT Realmuto hitting 7th. Danny Echeverria is in the 8th spot. And Dan Straley hits 9th. Prado was 1 for 3 last night. Miami had hits. And they had opportunities to score runs. Well, but they were buried under an avalanche of Pirate runs.
And that's the story of last night's ball game. But you know, also remember this. We talked about this through the ball game. There were quality at bats. I thought there was really good work. Christian Yelich had a 4-hit night. There were good at bats, and they didn't give things away. And a lot of times in ball games like that is very difficult to do. And I think that Don Mattingly would be really proud, and certainly is proud of his offense, the way they kind of stayed in the game and put together good at bats.
The 2-0 pitch is a strike, and that's what Nova does. Don Mattingly and the Marlins all of a sudden have dropped 3 straight. And they're running into a hot pitcher here in Nova. And it had to feel good for Ivan Nova in his last start to beat the Yankees in 7 innings, giving up just 1 run.
Well, this is the new Ivan Nova, the efficient one, the one that leads with the fastball, and that's it. He's really aggressive. Only 1 walk on the season. You kind of were hinting around it. You see his last start. And this Yankees team, boy, are they taking it to the Baltimore Orioles right now.
That's a liner to left. Prado got the hands through, and he's on his way to second with a double. That's not an easy pitch to pull.
It is not an easy pitch to pull. I have 2 thoughts going on here. Great piece of hitting. We're going to get to it in a second. We'll show it to you one more time. But here's the thing. 3-1 count. So you're thinking, okay, 2-seam fastball. What do we know? What have we already learned in this ball game? Ivan Nova doesn't walk hitters. He's going to be around the plate, and you're probably going to get yourself a fastball. Martin Prado loads up, looks for it, and rips it into the corner. I know that made it sound easy, but it's not easy to do. Ivan Nova has been that good. But nice job right there, keeping the hands through that 2-seam fastball.
Christian Yelich now for Prado, his first double of the season. Yelich's double last night was amazingly his first double of the year. And a rolling breaking ball is a strike. Now the Pirates last night on the infield were shifting Yelich aggressively. A little less so tonight, although the runner at second, Prado, may affect that. And Nova misses with a fastball up.
Christian Yelich put on a hitting clinic last night. Base hits to all fields, 2 to left, 1 to center, 1 to right. His 5th 4-hit game of his career.
Yelich pulls a ground ball, and Gope has it. Fires to first in time. And so here comes Stanton with a runner at third and 2 outs.
Out of the way, Giancarlo Stanton. Let's take a look at the Pirates defensively tonight. Polanco back in left field. Andrew McCutchen, the center fielder. Jaso out in right field tonight. Around the infield, Harrison, Mercer, Gope, Josh Bell, Francisco Cervelli does the catching.
Don't know that we've ever ID'd a player through water with fish in front of him before, but that breaks television ground there. Stanton tied up and fouls it off, and the count is 0-1. Stanton 1 for 4 last night with an RBI. Marlins not only had their hits, but they also had some balls hit hard at people. Stanton had a liner out to right. Justin Bour had a couple of seeds right at people.
Why not? Giancarlo Stanton hit .393 with 4 homers, 8 RBIs over his last 7 games.
Nova's out in front by a 0-2 count. 15 strikeouts, 1 walk in 4 starts in 27 innings. Stanton checks his swing. That would be James Hoy down at first. And the count's 1-2. Prado at third. Is that a show me setting up the next slider?
He's, working off the corners. We know that he's going to attack. He'll see the 2-seamer in. I mean, here's your game plan. 2-seamers in. You're going to see the slider away probably at some point during the sequencing here, but he's ahead in the counter. He's at a 2-2 count now, so he still has a pitch to play with and, base open.
outside corner, and Stanton is rung up. And the Marlins come up empty in the first. Top two. The Marlins ballpark pass gives you the ultimate flexibility. Who doesn't like flexibility, right? Ichiro does. Convenience of mobile ticketing, excitement of Marlins baseball for only $199. Marlins ballpark pass includes 20 mobile tickets they can use for home games in April, May, June 2017. Some restrictions apply. Gregory Polanco. Here's the odd thing about last night with the Pirates jumping all over Adam Conley, scoring 12 runs, is that this guy didn't do more damage, because Gregory Polanco has made this his personal playground, this ballpark, in his short stay in the big leagues.
Well, he's off to a slow start this year. No homers, 4 RBIs. Batting average around 220.
And of course, in the absence of Starling Marte, who was suspended 80 games for violating the PED policy in Major League Baseball, the Pirates are leaning heavily on guys like Polanco, Josh Bell, Andrew McCutchen, everybody to pick up the slack.
Well, it leads you to, those numbers that weren't so good. We talked about them in game 1 of this series, where the Pirates sit offensively as a unit. Not very good. At the bottom of the National League, certainly the bottom of Major League Baseball.
Well, Polanco's back at it. Ozuna got there quickly. Polanco can run, and he is in there with a double. 5th double of the season. And the Pirates have a man in scoring position with nobody out.
Gregory Polanco is going to get a 2-seam fastball, and he's going to stay through it. Doesn't look to pull. Stays right on top of it. Watch those hands. They stayed inside the baseball. They led. The barrel was behind it, able to shoot it past Martin Prado. Nice try by Marcell Ozuna. Polanco can run, though.
So Straley now faces Francisco Cervelli, John Jaso, and Jordy Mercer. And Cervelli, I don't want to say he was the turning point, but he had some big moments in the 2nd inning. 2 at-bats, 2 hits, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored. And he leaves that bunt in foul territory. The count is 0-1. And that was all that messy 2nd inning for Conley and the Fish, which the Pirates scored 8 times.
Well, I think the Cervelli's at bats last night, it kind of summed up the way everything went as far as plate discipline for the Pirates. He had long, lengthy at bats. He was waiting for his pitch, fouling off some tough pitchers' pitches. And all of a sudden, you started to see the Pirates do similar things. And it was like all of a sudden they were kind of feeding off each other, doing it. Marlins, the pitch counts were going through the roof for everybody last night.
Straley gets a strike there, and it's 0-2. We're about an inning away from Charles Johnson joining us up here in the booth. A lot to talk about. The All-Star game, obviously, which is July 11th on Fox. And his All-Star experiences. He's an All-Star twice, and both times as a Marlin. And then you and CJ are going to talk catching.
Sounds like a plan. I'm really looking forward to that conversation because we've got some, well, the Marlins have one of the best young catchers in the game of baseball, and that's who we're going to center that conversation around. There he is.
JT Realmuto, 0-2. And Cervelli sends it right field. I don't think it's deep enough for Polanco. Stanton has a run at it. Polanco never budges. So a good out to get for Straley as Polanco stays at second. And here is John Jaso, whom the Marlins saw middle of the game on last night.
You know I'm going to sneak pop time in there, right?
Pop time, framing. I remember talking to CJ last year about Realmuto, and he really liked him. He loved his athleticism and just how he moved behind the plate.
We'll get an update.
Yeah.
Always like talking growth at the major league level. That's always a fun conversation, especially for catchers. JT Realmuto has to continue to get better, and he clearly is this season.
Jaso in right field. He spent a lot of time at first base last year, but with Josh Bell emerging, a young player, Jaso was a catcher at one point, has gone from catcher to first, and now getting a lot of time in the outfield.
The numbers for Jaso against Straley, 0 for 9 with 2 strikeouts. Dan Straley has been particularly good the first time through the lineup with 47 batting average against him. So he comes out, and that's one thing that for Dan, you talk about how good he has been using all of his pitches, particularly his fastball and slider, with that curveball and changeup certainly factoring in. You see that first time through the lineup, 147. That is big. That is a great counterpunch to what happened last night offensively with the Pirates.
Pitches up. Now Jaso should feel pretty comfortable at the plate because for his 2 seasons in Oakland catching a lot, Dan Straley was on that rotation, and so these two have worked together as teammates before. And then last year we told you Straley saw the Pirates a lot. He made 5 starts against them as a member of the Cincinnati Reds. 3-1 coming. In the air to left and fairly deep. Polanco's going to tag. Ozuna makes the catch and throws a dart in that's cut. Polanco retreats. 2 fly ball outs for Straley after the double by Polanco, and now he goes to work on Jordy Mercer. Mercer started things last night when he popped a homer to left off of Conley. That was in the first inning.
And that was the first sign of a misfire. Remember back, JT Realmuto reaching back across the plate to get that fastball that Jordy Mercer jumped all over.
And that was the consensus in talking to the Marlins. Fastball command was not there.
You see your JT right there, even in that extended look. He's telling you where the ball ended up going and where it was running to, not to where it was supposed to be. And Jordy Mercer, the big league hitters do, they hit mistakes. Jumped all over that fastball.
Mercer fouls it back and out of play. Mercer's had some offensive moments in his career. This is a guy that at Oklahoma State was an infielder and the closer on that team when he was in college.
Well, we shouldn't be surprised. Big league shortstop.
There you go.
It's like a math equation.
0-2 pitch lined into center field. That's a base hit. Polanco was on the move and he scores easily. And so the Pirates get a run here. Mercer delivers again early in a ball game.
Now watch Polanco, yep, off. And Straley, as soon as that pitch makes its way, the whole goal right there for D is to do everything in his power to try to keep that ball, but that ball was hit hard on the infield, couldn't do it. Polanco comes around and scores easy. You see infield coaches there in that situation say, knock it down, knock it down. That's the ball right there that you're talking about. If you got a runner in scoring position, you try to keep it in front of you or knock it down. Maybe give up the base hit, but you can keep the guy from scoring.
Here's Ngope now, and he takes a strike. Gift Ngope. If you missed it last night, we talked an awful lot about this guy. He's 27, out of South Africa. He's the very first African-born major leaguer. It's been a whirlwind week for him, and last night was a big one. 3 hits, 2 walks. First major league RBI, first major league triple. All for a guy that was an absolute long shot. I mean long shot to get to the big leagues when he arrived at 18 to his first camp in 2009. Little tapper. Straley captures it and fires to first in time. But the Pirates have a run and the lead. It's 1-0. All-Star City in 2017. And on July 11th on Fox, the All-Star game you can see. And right now you can see Craig Minervini. Craig?
Well, thank you very much, Rich. And before the game today, Justin Bour was out working in the cage before batting practice, doing some tee work and just trying to hit line drives. Don Mattingly was out there, the hitting coaches, Pagliarulo, Menachino with a close eye on him. And what Mattingly was saying is you're just trying to see the kind of contact that he's getting, the contact points. If you're line driving the ball or if it starts to tail on you off the tee, you get a pretty good look. You see the manager in there watching close and long with Mike Pagliarulo. And what Don said is he likes his swing, especially lately. Not earlier in the year. You saw some good contact from him last night in the ball game. And he said in the road trip, he really started to see the bat come around in terms of the swings. Hopefully the production and the numbers do too.
Well, Craig, what a great resource for a guy like Bour is having Don Mattingly as a manager. Now, Mike Pagliarulo and Frank Menachino, outstanding hitting instructors, but a left-hander's swing sometimes is a bit unique. Mattingly, of course, not only a terrific hitter as a major leaguer, but he was a hitting coach as well, and with the Yankees and with the Dodgers.
Well, and you saw the drill that they were doing there. You know, it's nothing crazy. It really is just point of the contact, and what you kind of saw there. Even they were talking. Baseball hitting's very linear. I mean, you know, it's line of sight. Where are you trying to make contact? Where the inside pitch is, and where the outside pitch is, and what you're trying to do. So, completely agree with where Justin Bour is at recently, swinging the bat much better. Even last night, I was actually surprised. I know, sometimes these things kind of work themselves out of the time or the early work that you put in. He didn't have a bad day last night. That's the other thing. You know, if it were 2 weeks ago, I think you and I would have been like, oh, well, that maybe makes a little bit more sense.
Swing and a miss, ball in the dirt. That one tied him up. And Nova has 2 strikeouts. Let's scout this big right-hander, and he is big, 6'5", 240.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. And you know, it's fun to scout him now because the scouting report's different than the one that you would have told 2 years ago. Here you go, life in the fast lane. Why not? 76.2% of the time, he's gonna lead with that fastball. It's what he leans on. It's why he doesn't walk hitters. 93, 94 miles an hour pretty regularly. Fountain of youth. Well, he's found himself in Pittsburgh. Huge difference. Roller coaster ride with the Yankees. Consistent. One of the best pitchers in the National League since putting on the Pirates uniform. In fact, the 2nd best ERA over that time. And Straley's a fan. That's the last one. Dan Straley's only big league hit. That guy.
That's saying something.
It is.
He's, I think, 1 for 62. And Nova's the guy. Ozuna tied up. Now, we watched Don Mattingly working with Justin Bour. What have you seen from Marcell Ozuna, who came off a Player of the Week award, and he's on a 3 for 34 skid right now?
Well, he had some nice at-bats last night. I think back to one particular walk early in the ball game. You know, and a lot of times and I've heard this, Marcell sometimes will do this when he gets going really good, and I used to think this way all the time too. You just get hungry for the success that you're having, and you kind of chase it a little bit. And what ends up happening is that it kind of promotes an aggressiveness, or maybe an over-aggressiveness. What's really gone on is the pitching, they haven't given him a whole lot to hit. So what he ends up doing is sometimes expanding the strike zone, falling back into 2-strike counts, and then having to battle his way back. And that to me is what's going on. And I just think that at first it was just a little bit, and now it's kind of grown. There's been some hard hit balls in there as well, and there's been some walks and some strikeouts to go along with it, and some frustration. But I think right now, as he finds the barrel a couple times in a row, he'll hit another hot streak.
That a gorgeous pitch, and Ivan Nova is showing why he's been one of the best right-handers in the National League since that trade from the Yankees.
You heard me talk about the number of fastballs that he throws. You say, well, what in the world? He's throwing breaking ball right there to get these guys out. That's exactly what he does. He's going to work all the way to 2 strikes just about against every Marlins hitter tonight, other than maybe the Yelich's and the Stantons in the middle of the lineup. And then he's going to use the big breaking ball. He's going to use the changeup to put guys away. And that's why you see some frustration there on these 2-strike pitches.
JT Realmuto fires at the first pitch and lofts it into left center field. Polanco makes the catch. 1-0 Pirates. Charles Johnson, All-Star Charles Johnson, when we return. And Marlins, Pirates on top. July 11th, the All-Star game is right here at Marlins Park. And every Saturday home game, it's an All-Star Saturday for us here on Fox Sports Florida. And we are proud to welcome into the broadcast booth a 2-time All-Star, Charles Johnson. Charles, how are you?
I tell you what, I'm glad to be here. I'm doing fine.
Good. And with the All-Star game coming, I'm sure there's a lot of things that are going on in the city of Miami that you'll be involved in.
It's going to be an exciting week. We all know the All-Star game, it brings a lot of people to the area. And for me, I'm going to be part of the Futures game. Going to be one of the manager of the Futures game. So, yeah, going to be the manager of the Futures game.
You looking forward to that?
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting, and it's going to be some nice young talent that's going to come out on that Sunday and showcase themselves.
Who's your opponent manager?
I think my opponent manager is going to be Edgar Renteria.
Oh, the Barranquilla baby, right?
Yes, so it should be really exciting. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
Very cool.
What have you seen from this Marlins team this season?
I tell you what, like anything else, I mean, this team here has a nucleus, has a character as far as you're talking about Stan and Bohr and Yelich and all these guys that can really, you know, push this team into a good summer where they can compete. But at the same time, you have to be able to pitch. And without any doubt, everybody comes out of spring training hoping that their at least one through four is going to keep them in late innings and hand it over to the bullpen.
Charles Johnson was an All-Star twice, and I went back and looked at your career, and it surprised me that you were an All-Star in 2 different eras with the Marlins. That one in the air, Bohr eyes it. Of course, everybody remembers 1997, a World Championship. You were such a big part of that team. You were an All-Star that year. In Cleveland was the All-Star game in '97. Here's a look at you. Now that's why you got 4 consecutive Gold Gloves. And the man could hit too.
I'll tell you what, there's a common theme, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight and I get to talk to you, because I've been so impressed with JT Realmuto. Now, Siege, I played with you and I played against you. When I played against you, the rule was you don't run on CJ, don't even think about it. You're just wasting your time. So we got it. And we love talking about JT Realmuto. He's one of the best throwers in the game. Do you see similarities, you know, between the two of you?
I tell you what, I really love this young kid, man. He's so mature behind home plate, and it's very difficult. A lot of people don't realize when you come in the big leagues, it's a big responsibility. You have to learn the pitching staff, you have to learn the other hitters, and it's very difficult for him to be hitting the way he's hitting and still managing himself behind the home plate. It says a lot about that kid's his character.
Well, and let me follow up with that, because I think it's a great point that you mentioned right there. And Siege, as your career went on, you became much more of an offensive threat, no doubt about it. Certainly in the power department. And you know, we watched JT Realmuto talk about that for a second. I mean, you know, some guys it's defense first, and it might be like 3 or 4 years, and then they start to hit a little bit, or maybe they hit enough to keep themselves around. But then there's the difference between the great defenders and the offensive game.
That's usually what happens.
Well, JT Realmuto on his way to the dugout. That was a quick Dan Straley inning. CJ's not going anywhere, so stick around. 1-0 Pirates. Great year in Marlins history, and a first-time All-Star year that year was Charles Johnson out of Fort Pierce, Florida, a star at the University of Miami, drafted by the home team even before the Marlins had played a game. And to be an All-Star in '97 must have been a thrill.
It really was. I mean, if you look at that ball club, it was a team full of All-Stars. So for me to have opportunity to go to the All-Star game that summer, it was incredible. And I'll tell you what, it was a great year all the way around for us.
Roller to short, Mercer to first. Now, Todd had asked you about Real Muto, and we were talking defense, and the topic shifted to offense. He's, like you, an offensive catcher who's great on defense.
You know, when I first came in the big leagues, it was a struggle for me offensively. I really struggled early on to really find my footing, and without a doubt, Renee Latchman told me, he said, CJ, you concentrate on catching. We need you to catch, and your hitting is going to come. And I tell you what, I finished the year that year, and I finished like 250, but had opportunity to win a Gold Glove that first year, and I kind of slowly started progressing. So to see what JT is doing right now, the way he's hitting at the average, is great, because we all know eventually the power is going to come. And so what he's doing now is perfect. Just get your hits, just get on base, drive some runs in, because eventually the power is going to come when his confidence really builds up.
0-2 to Straley, and he strikes out. All right, we're going to show you some of his defense. We'll let you narrate it and tell us what you see.
I tell you what, he does a great job as far as his exchange. He's really good at taking that ball and really getting it back up to his hand to get ready to throw, because one thing we know about catching, it's all about accuracy. Throwing out runners is about accuracy. You have to make good throws, because I can throw a 1-7 and a high throw, and most guys are going to be safe. And you give me a guy that can throw a 1-9, 2-0 on top of that bag every time, I'll show you guys going to throw probably 40% of his runners out.
Well, we hope you're going to show us a few tricks of the trade here before we let you out. We've got our demonstration area ready. We've got home plate. We've got a catcher's glove. Now, we were going to bring full gear up, but we decided against that, so stick around for that. CJ,
I really appreciate you not bringing the full gear up.
CJ and Todd are going to be, Todd will be in the batter's box. CJ will be behind the plate. That's coming up. D. Gordon at the plate, and fouls it off. And Ivan Nova's just been filling up the zone with strikes right now.
Well, Rich, I'll tell you what, I'm scared to ask CJ a question here, because this, I mean, we're flying through these innings. My goodness, both these guys are just dialed in right now, making pitches. Oh, by the way, see Ivan Nova here in the bottom of the third, only at 32 pitches.
1-2. Gordon swings and misses. Ball on the ground. Cervelli on to first. All right, the demo area. When we get back, Charles Johnson, without the gear, will show us how it's done. 1-0 Pirates. Top four here in Miami. Now, In '97, Charles Johnson did not make an error all season. That a major league record. So who better to talk catching in JT Realmuto than our CJ, and he's in the demo area with Todd Hollingsworth. Guys?
Yeah, fantastic ball game so far, 1-0 Pirates. We're in the demo area, and we talked pop time, and CJ told us about what 1-7 and 1-9 is all about, being quick. We wanted to see if CJ would show us kind of what it looks like. Now, we're not asking for real time here. We just kind of want a demonstration of the exchange of how this is going to work, CJ. So I'm going to hand you that baseball. Show us what it kind of looks like.
Well, really, the one thing about catching is that you have to have momentum going towards second base. If you look at a lot of catchers have momentum more going sideways.
Right.
So for me, I've always taught myself to have momentum going forward, because you tend to lose ground when you go sideways. So while you're going sideways, that guy's running. So for me, I'm really all about wanting to come this way to the ball. And I tell you what, that allows you to have more a direct angle towards second base. And like I said earlier, it's all about being accurate as far as throwing out runners.
Let me ask you one more question. I saw you spin the ball in your glove. We're all trained to spin the ball and get that four-seamer, right? Can you do that as a catcher, or you just grab it and go?
Well, a lot of time as a catcher, for me, I'm all about really trying to grab this ball as soon as I possibly can to get a grip on the baseball, because that saves you from having a lot of errors. And like I say, the main thing is about getting that ball quick, across the seams, and being able to make an accurate throw.
Fantastic, CJ. We appreciate it. Rich, back to you. We'll see you in a second.
All right, thanks, Todd. JT Realmuto is a good example of that. Breaking ball misses out from Dan Straley. And the count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Andrew McCutchen for the Pirates. Takes that one out in center field. Yelich is there, and he makes a catch. Straley gave up a run in the second. Sunday tomorrow, the Marlins and the Pirates. It's a 1:10 start. Aquafina 4-pack, 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 soft drinks, and it all starts at $84 post-game. Kids get to run the bases. Go to marlins.com for tickets. Changeup. He misses away to Gregory Polanco. Pirates run came in the second, the double by Polanco, and a 2-out single by Jordy Mercer. And of course, it was Mercer that started the scoring last night. Magically back from the demonstration area. You look good behind the plate, Phil.
I'll tell you what, I was trying to squat, but I knew I couldn't go all the way down.
I told you, listen, I said, see, you're too big now. If you go all the way down there and you try to give me one of those great pop times and you don't come back up, I don't know if there's enough big guys around here to get you up off the ground.
I know. I tell you what I have to realize now is YouTube nowadays, so I have to be very careful about doing stuff
well,
like
that's
that.
right. You certainly don't want to have to live that down.
Polanco again finds that left field line. He's digging for 2, and a pair of doubles for Gregory Polanco. A 1-out double here. A 1-0 Pirate lead. Now, in the demo era, you were talking about catch and release in terms of throwing, and Realmuto's pop time numbers have been extraordinary over his first 2 years in the big leagues. One of the things they're working on, and JT will talk about it as well, with Brian Schneider here, who was a terrific defensive catcher in his day in the big leagues, is framing, is blocking. Realmuto took a lot of steps forward at the end of last year. What are the challenges for a young catcher, a guy who was a shortstop in high school, when it comes to the finer points of catching?
You know, when you're looking at blocking a baseball, blocking a baseball is something that really it comes natural. It comes with instincts. And I believe that's why he made the adjustment fairly quickly, because he has a good instincts. He's an infielder. And number two, he's definitely not afraid of the baseball. And when you have those two things, great instincts, not afraid of the baseball, then you allow your body to relax as you're blocking the baseball. I know a lot of times when I'm blocking baseballs, I always exhale a little bit when I block a baseball to relax my body. And that's the hardest part about blocking the ball, is relaxing your body.
So wait a minute, you exhale before you block it, or you exhale after you block?
Well, as the ball is coming, you release your body and you relax your body, so your body can absorb the contact of the baseball.
How long does it take to learn something like that? I mean that's incredible. I mean, you think about the, you know, I understand what you're doing, but even to think that in a big league ball game with a 93-mile-an-hour split finger fastball heading your way, that you're like, relax. I mean, is that something that you practice over years, or was it spring training?
You practice over years. You know, I tell young kids, when I'm even throwing runners out, I tell myself to catch the ball first. You in big games, stands are full, and I keep telling myself, CJ, catch the ball first, because I know if I catch the ball first, I'm going to make a good throw, because the worst thing ever is that you're going to rush it and make a bad throw because I rushed it. So now I tell myself to take my time. So the same thing with blocking. I tell myself to relax myself.
So blocking baseballs, it's not natural to begin with. When did you start to learn that? Who taught it to you, and how did that process go?
That process for me started with my dad in my backyard. I mean, you know, on Saturdays and Sundays where a lot of kids are playing, I was blocking baseballs. I mean, my dad, well, he was a high school coach, and he had access to pitching machines and different balls, so that was an advantage on my part. And we would be in the backyard, and he'll set that machine up, and I'm blocking it. And I eventually learned how to block, because the ball keep hitting your arms all the time. And you eventually understand that chest protector is there for a reason, and you're going to use it and learn how to center your body and block a baseball.
How did your dad motivate you to do, as a kid, block the balls from a pitching machine?
Well, I had no problem with that, because I wanted to be a catcher. So whenever Saturday came around, I was asking my dad to go out and block baseballs, because I was a left fielder when I started playing ball. And I decided one day I was bored in the outfield, and I asked my coach in Little League, I said, Coach, I want to catch. He said, you sure? And I said, yeah. He said, yeah, go ahead. And Coach Jimbo told me to put the gear on. I put the gear on in practice, and I started catching, and I never stopped catching since.
Any rewards for catching them, other than getting to the big leagues?
You know, catching is such a rewarding position, because day in and day out, you have something to do with the outcome of a baseball game. And you go home emotionally drained. You know, you're on highs and lows, because you're thinking about what could I have called earlier, different things that I could have done differently as far as calling the game. So it's such a rewarding position, because you are part of an outcome of every game that is played.
Well, CJ, and I tell guys around the game, like on the broadcast side of things now, for my last 8 years, I said, you need to talk to the catchers. They're the best interviews. They're like, well, why? Why are the catchers the best interviews? I said, they're in every meeting. They go into the hitters meeting, they go into the pitchers meeting. They're, you know, they know they're in on everything. They're the quarterback. That's what they are. And I said, if you want to know about a baseball team, go talk to the catchers. Go talk to the backup. I mean, he may only get 100 at bats, but he's in on all the meetings.
We're in on all the meetings, and that's what makes catching so difficult, because you have to know what's going on all around the field. And if you look at JT, that's what's so impressive about him, whereas he's making his adjustment fairly quickly and doing a great job hitting, catching, and he's only get better. Once you start learning the league as a catcher, things become easier.
D. Gordon, diving stop, saves a run, throws out Cervelli, and Polanco ends up at third base. Terrific play by D. Gordon.
A beautiful play by D. Gordon. You heard me talk about it a couple innings ago about keeping that ball on the infield. D. Gordon does it this time, able to pop up and get Cervelli. Catchers aren't always the fastest guys in the room, but you know what? Getting down the line right there, D. Gordon had a little bit of time, able to come up and make a big play right there. 2 outs now.
Charles, what 2 All-Star games, 97, 2001. What was your best All-Star memory?
You know, All-Star memories are all about walking into that locker room and seeing your name up there next to the greats. And to me, that there just blew me away, to be able to walk in the locker room and see all these great names you watched play before you arrived in the big leagues, you played with in the big leagues, and your name is up there, and you're part of history. and you're one of the best guys on the field that first half of the season. So it's an awesome feeling to be an all-star. And I tell you what, as an all-star, you really have to come with your writing skills, because they have a whole bunch of stuff to sign.
Well, once an all-star, always an all-star. They can't take that away from you.
Memorabilia is everywhere in the rooms,
Yes,
I tell you.
it is.
Yeah, it's a great time, and that's this city is in for a real treat in early July with the Futures game on Sunday, the home run hitting contest on Monday, and then July 11th, the All-Star game on Fox. Marcell Ozuna makes the catch. All right, Charles Johnson, thank you very much.
I'll tell you what, thanks for having me, guys. Man.
Yes.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank
Best
you.
interview we've had all year.
All right, let's go get them.
And good luck as the manager in the Futures
Yeah,
today.
I'm excited about it.
Don't get ejected. On Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By your South Florida Chevy dealers. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. Tonight, we're in Miami, where the Pirates have a 1-0 lead over the Fish. Martin Prado against Ivan Nova. And that's a strike. Nova, who is on a real nice run right now, not only in this ball game, but in a Pirate uniform, has punched out 5. Prado doubled in the first. He's behind in the count, 0-2. Since being traded, Nova is 7-4 with a 2.75 ERA. And that's 15 starts, and in those 15 starts, he has walked all of 4 hitters. 4.
I'm sure that Yankees would tell you they're thrilled for him, and I think this is what's so interesting, about the game of baseball. You go all the way back to 2011, and you tell this incredible story of a young man who bursts onto the scene, puts on the pinstripes, and goes out and goes 16-4 with a 3.7 in 2011. It builds up all these expectations, and then, over the course of some injuries and some inconsistency and some good runs, up and down career as a Yankee. Goes over here to Pittsburgh, second best ERA since arriving on the scene. Only John Lester actually has a lower ERA than Ivan Nova, and I mean he's pitching like an ace. I mean he's pitching like he's been doing this forever.
Prado rolls it to the right side, Bell to Nova, and his former teammate with the Yankees, Martin Prado, is out at first base. Now tomorrow is a 1 o'clock game, but a special day. We'll have it for you here on Fox Sports Florida. Marlins Live starts at 12:30. South Florida Honda dealers will bring it to you. The 3,000 hit celebration will carry a lot of that ceremony live from the fields. And we have a sit down with Gift Ngope. Craig Minervini had a chance to speak with a guy who we've talked an awful lot about, and you don't want to miss that interview. That's all tomorrow, 12:30, Marlins Live. Here's Yelich, who bounced to second. He swings and misses. Had a changeup. There he is. His first week in the major leagues. His first day at spring training camp when he was 18 years old. Is the 0-1. The equipment manager who ran the spring training facility couldn't figure out why Ngope was hanging out with him and not all the other players. He didn't know the story yet, that he actually was raised in a small clubhouse in a baseball field in South Africa. There's the 0-2. Yelich rolls it in the hole. Mercer got him. But you know what? At the end of the night, when the equipment manager came back to shut everything down, he walks into the laundry room. There is Ngope folding all the towels. His first day as a professional. And he asked him, "What are you doing?" He said, "Oh, this is home for me. This is where I'm most comfortable."
Yeah. He's given me the impression, I haven't had the privilege of meeting him, very, very humble, no doubt about it. Very appreciative of his circumstances. And we've now been privileged, obviously, last night to see a lot of his firsts, and I think that that's really cool. And I even think back to, you know, we were talking about it, his first hit a couple nights ago against John Lester and the Cubs. You know, how his teammates responded to him. They know his story. They know how this has all gone, and they are thrilled for him.
Stanton takes down low. Nova struck him out back in the first. Well, this is kind of the age of entitlement for many young people, whether they're athletes or not. I saw someone said he's the least entitled player they've ever met. Ngope trying to flag this one down, and he does. Ivan Nova is all that was advertised tonight. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Baseball break, and it's brought to you by T-Mobile. Bombs away. A lot of popping of chains, right? 48 homers. That's the biggest home run day of the season. That was last night in Major League Baseball.
And you see the home runs this year. I mean, goodness gracious, the numbers just going up, up, and up.
Clint Hurdle, Don Mattingly. So let me ask you this. We see both managers. Does that make managers happy? Does it give them gray hairs? How do you react if you're the... now, both those guys, Mattingly, a great Major League hitter. Hurdle was a Major Leaguer and a terrific hitting coach himself. So how does that affect a manager?
Well,
home runs good, home runs bad?
Well, it's good. It's not a bad thing. It's just how you manage it. And I think really what you do, you have to manage your personnel. Not everybody has as much power. Ask Clint Hurdle. He says, I got a few guys in my lineup that can hit the long ball. So maybe you'd be a little bit more aggressive in certain spots. So you just try to take the, managing really is about taking the assets that you have and getting the most out of them. If it's more speed, it's more speed. If it's more power, it's more power. Now, granted, it's a combination of the two when it comes to what, say, Don Mattingly and the Marlins have. Now, they have more speed, but if you look at their numbers, they don't run or steal bases as much. They try to be aggressive in different ways. And that's maybe how you recognize that power, especially when you're going through the middle of the lineup between Yelich, Osuna, Bohr. I mean, you don't want to mess with these guys, right? I mean, you mentioned Giancarlo Stanton, for crying out loud. So you got to be careful. What do? Yeah, maybe you don't run as much in those situations because you give guys opportunities to go deep. But with that being said, we still try to be aggressive on the base paths. And that was his message earlier this year, the little things that he talked about that they can do better. Now, with the Pirates, you probably run more.
Yeah. Well, Mattingly and the Fish last night saw the Pirates get on the board with the home run. Amazingly, they scored 12 runs and just had that one solo shot by Mercer. Straley gets a strike. Tonight, Jordy Mercer has knocked in the only run of the game with an RBI single. Nova fouls it back, and it's 0-2. Washington Nationals got some bad news today. That injury that Adam Eaton had on first base last night, a torn ACL, and he is out for the season. Swing and a miss. Straley gets a strikeout. A 1-2-3 fifth for the Pirates. Halfway through, a 1-0 lead for Pittsburgh.
People with a B in Africa, Gift Ngope is the first from that continent to play in the major leagues.
I'm still trying to understand the nature of the story. I mean, all my friends and family back home are telling me how big this thing has blown up. I mean, I can tell just by my phone. I haven't been able to look at my phone the same, and everything's just been blowing up, and it's kind of weird looking at yourself, you know, making headlines and everything. So I'm grasping everything each day at a time.
8 years in the minors, a Pirate scout by the name of Tom Randolph spotted him in late 2008. It's an incredible story. He's not getting tired of telling it, and everybody wants an interview. We've got it tomorrow. Marlins Live at 12:30.
All right, Craig, look forward to that for sure. The other guy that was instrumental in that was Barry Larkin. Larkin, part of international baseball, and in that academy, that 3-week camp in Italy, Larkin was there, and he met Ngope and encouraged him, gave him some instruction. And it's a guy that Ngope leaned on his years in the minor leagues. That's tomorrow. Marlins Live, 12:30. Marlins and Pirates at 1 o'clock. Great pregame show tomorrow, and of course, in that pregame show and in the top of the hour, the ceremony honoring Ichiro for his 3,000th hit. So you don't want to miss that. Arrive on your couch a little early before the ball game starts. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. You just saw Craig. Good chance that Ichiro's in the lineup tomorrow as well. Bohr shoots one into left field. Now that is a base hit, and that's got to feel good for the big guy who's been working so hard. You saw the tee work with Don Mattingly and Mike Pagliarulo, and the line drives that he hit at people last night.
Well, this is a great example of how you stay inside of baseball. You heard me talk about with Polanco. Justin Bohr does exactly the same thing. See how the bottom hand pulls that bat through right there? That's taking a pitch on the inside part of the plate and elevating it the other way. That's how you do it right there. You don't roll it over, you stay through it. Nice piece of hitting right there by Justin Bohr.
Now Ozuna. Struck out in the second. Takes down low here. The slide right now at 3 for his last 35.
See how hot he was at the beginning of all of this. His numbers still very respectable. 6 homers, 21 RBIs.
Ball and a strike. Of course, we've told you Nova just doesn't walk people. Only one this year. This is his 5th start. Look at the ball strike ratio.
35 strikes in those 52 total pitches. The bat right here for Ozuna.
Two balls, 2 strikes.
To pull a little bit on the infield. Does have the hole to the right side with 2 strikes. Remember back to how hot he was in those first couple weeks of the season, earning himself a National League Player of the Week award. He was shooting balls the other way when given the opportunity to.
And he chases a breaking ball. Geico presents a Marlins moment. On this date in history, on the 6th of May, Charles Johnson goes 2 for 3 with a solo homer. He scored 3 runs. That was his major league debut. Oh, excuse me, on the 6th of May. We're not to May yet. I thought the Geico moment was on this day.
It was connected to Charles. It's connected to CJ.
All right, any moment.
It's all good.
Sure it is, especially with CJ involved.
Told you. Good interview.
First round draft pick out of the University of Miami.
So impressive when I got to play with him, short period of time, just how he controlled the game. Just absolutely amazing to me, the work that he did behind the plate. You know, even the priorities of a catcher. Like, you watch the normal day for a baseball player, offensive player, shortstop, you know, maybe ground balls, preparation for you know, the balls he's going to get during the game, his batting practice, maybe some extra work in the cage, and pretty much that's your offense. Those are your guys, your offense and your defensive guys. But your catcher, it starts with a pitcher's meeting. It starts with the starting pitcher. It starts with sequencing, and then it moves on to, you know, what else might be going on in the bullpen. Probably a little manager meeting, and then, well, catch a few swings if you can buy yourself some time there at the end before the game. He was always so right about that. It was always so interesting to me. You know, we've fallen in love with the offensive side of the game, and we talk about all the home runs even tonight and what we saw yesterday and what we see in the game today with all this power. When you see an offensive catcher, it's still so impressive to me. And I came up with another one in Mike Piazza. These guys could absolutely hit, but when you watch what their bodies go through behind the plate, it just amazes you.
And guys, we were talking about that 97 year, which is incredible. No errors the entire season for CJ. And he went until the last week of the season with no pass balls until a Rob Nen fastball with that action on it got by him. So one pass ball, no errors the entire season. And he had 17 double plays, a Marlins record for a catcher.
Wow. Unbelievable.
Realmuto pops it first base side. Josh Bell out of his reach. Cervelli there too.
I'll tell you what, just the last thing he said right there is a feather in the cap. Goodness gracious, Rob Nen. Rob Nen, the toe tap and the cutter, the 96-mile-an-hour cut fastball all over the place. He got all the way through the season, no pass balls with Nen on the mound. Holy cow.
Cervelli out for a visit with Ivan Nova. 1-0 Pittsburgh here. We told you about the Adam Eaton injury for the Nationals, out for the year with the ACL injury. And the Nationals lost to the Mets today 5-3. So the Mets are showing signs of life, getting back up on their feet. They beat Steven Strasburg and the Nationals in DC 5-3. Some deeper counts here for Nova.
Marlins consistently have shown that second time through the lineup this year that they're going to put together a lot of times better at bats than what you might see that first time through. Not a whole lot of history between Nova and the Marlins, but again, this team shows the willingness to make adjustments and change their game plan that second time through the lineup.
Realmuto chops it out towards short. There's the flip in Gope's turn. Not in time. Realmuto hustling down. It wasn't a clean feed from Mercer to Ngope either.
No, it was a little slow, bought him a little bit of time at first base right there, and just beats the ball.
Echeverria now with Straley on deck. Danny Echeverria bounced to short. Miami has just 2 hits. Prado double and Bohr single to open this inning. Right back to him. Nova knocks it down, picks it up, flips to first in time. And Miami is done in the 5th. On to the 6th. 1-0 Pittsburgh. Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event by Kaiser University. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. This has been all about pitching tonight. Ivan Nova and Dan Straley. Straley, in his 5 innings, has given up just the 1 run, has 4 strikeouts, and has allowed just 3 hits. Ivan Nova, on the other hand, has piled up 6 strikeouts, 2 hits, and no runs.
Well, I'm still going to go with Dan Straley so far, as impressive as he has been tonight, just because of what the Pirates did last night. Not always easy to do. All the Pirates hitters, they show up for work today. They're ready to go, man. Multiple guys, multiple hits last night. Dan has been dialed in, making pitches all night long, mixing it up, using both sides of the plate. Cooled these Pirates off a little bit.
This is the top of the order for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Josh Harrison, Josh Bell, Andrew McCutchen. Good off-speed pitch from Straley. Pulled the string on a changeup. If you followed us, you know the story of Straley revamping his workout regimen with a group in Seattle, Washington called Driveline. They call themselves a data-driven performance baseball lab, and they sure have turned Straley's career around.
Well, as good as he has been going back to last year and seeing him at the end of last year, then obviously what we've seen from him here at the beginning, more of that smaller sample size. What's impressed me the most is Dan has repeatedly said last year how good he felt at the end of the season. It wasn't about fastball velocity. It was just start number 31 felt like start number 1 for him.
Harrison's not happy. Head shaking.
That is what you call a front door slider, folks. See it right there. Starts on the inside part of the plate. Josh Harrison gives up on it. Home plate umpire Tim Tibbins thinks it gets back to that corner. JT Realmuto, nice little picture, shows it to you.
Bell into right field. So base hit number 4. And here is Andrew McCutchen. McCutchen back in center field. Starling Marte suspended 80 games for violating the performance-enhancing drug policy. Much was made of McCutchen's down year defensively. And the Pirates felt that moving Marte into center, Marte a Gold Glover a couple times through, would strengthen the outfield defense. Lo and behold, McCutchen finds himself back out there.
Andrew McCutchen still believes he's a center fielder. We know that about him. Regardless of what the organizational stance might be, him being in center field now is exactly where he believes he should be.
He certainly has meant a lot to that man, and I would expect Clint Hurdle has meant a lot to that man, because hand in hand they have lifted the Pirates from one of the longest losing streaks in any professional sport to 3 straight postseasons.
Well, even over that 7-year period, the word respectability, and even now today, I mean, throw out expectations whatever you want. I mean, if I say Pittsburgh Pirates to you, you think there's some hint of this team's got a chance of making the playoffs this year. That's respectability in this game, and the 20 years prior to that didn't exist for the organization.
Fastball up, and of course McCutchen out of Fort Meade in Central Florida. In high school, he thought he was headed to play college football. And he had an injury. He was a great baseball star. At the same time, when the Pirates drafted him 11th overall, that's a good pitch by Straley. They offered McCutchen, obviously, first-round money to sign. And McCutchen felt, especially coming off that injury in football, that was his chance. Boy, did it change the fortunes of the Pirates organization. Of course, he was an MVP in 2013. And 3 other times he finished in the top 5 in MVP voting. Runner goes. McCutchen takes outside, and Straley has walked his first Pirate. If you have a group, friends, family,
what if they're both
countrymen, you could bring them to a ballpark, to the ball game here at Marlins Park. Marlins games provide a perfect setting for family outings, birthdays, and networking. If you want to network on your birthday with your family, it works out well, just like that. 1877 Marlins. Go to marlins.com/groups today. Tomorrow's a big day. Come out to the park. See Ichiro honored for 3,000 hits. Japanese Heritage Day. The Ichiro posters that are going out tomorrow, the 3,000 hit posters, are the replica of the Joseph Gormley painting from last year. That is really a terrific look. There it is. The original Gormley work from last year went for $25,000, wow, I believe, at the auction.
Beautiful. You're talking about a big day tomorrow. I'm talking about a big at bat in this ball game right now.
Polanco's doubled twice, and both of his doubles have been down the left field line.
And Straley right at him. Despite those 2 doubles, Josh Harrison still frustrated over that last at bat.
Prado has moved a few steps towards that line. Josh Bell back. McCutchen's at first. 1 out here. It's going to be a while before that one, the sting of that one leaves.
Yeah, that last at bat.
And he had a beef on the strike zone on the MLB at bat app. That pitch was in, just in. 0-2.
Try by Dan Straley right there. As we told you, Polanco 2 for 2, 2 doubles the other way against Straley. Ahead in the count right now. Runners in scoring positions. Big spot in this ball game. Top of 6. Really like to put Polanco down here. There's that changeup.
He doesn't go for it. He counts 2-2. Straley, who had a stressful inning in the second when the Pirates got their runs, had some deep counts here. 18 pitches already. That's out, and now it's 3-2. There's enough speed out there that if Clint Hurdle wants to gamble and get him in motion. Brad Ziegler in Miami's bullpen.
They're still playing him to pull on the infield, which surprises me a little bit. Polanco staying through 2 swings. Team Prado over towards third base bag. Love to get a ground ball right here.
not running. Pitch is out. Bags are loaded. And here comes Cervelli, who was a big part of the 12-2 win last night.
Dan Straley just was not going to make a mistake to Gregory Polanco right there and see this game get get out of hand in any way. He wants to keep that one-run deficit as a one-run deficit. Went to 3 consecutive changeups off the outside corner, but you saw how he missed. He was on the corner and then out of the strike zone. He wasn't starting it out down the middle of the plate and working it back to the corner. So that was pitching very, very carefully to Polanco right there. Did not want to make a mistake to him.
Juan Nieves out along with Real Muto. Ziegler increases his pace. And so Straley now goes to work on Cervelli. We'll see how the Marlins infield plays this. Gordon and Echeverria certainly will look for 2. The corners will be the interesting ones. Prado's back, but not Bohr. Bohr's got a foot on the grass at first.
He's got a shot at home. You can do on the corners. Still trying to turn 2. Cervelli will go the other way.
And that's a good start to the at-bat for Straley. Cervelli and Tim Timmons. I feel your pain, Francisco. Is what Josh Harrison.
I was just thinking about how that last conversation went. Yeah, he's off the plate. Francisco,
yeah, that's
not there. Timmons, it's there. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
The pitch to Harrison was in. That one was out. 0-1 here. And Straley now with a count 0-2, and he's out in front. Well, and the Pirates catcher.
You get the significance of what just went on those 2 pitches right there, and that's absolutely amazing in the game of baseball. If you're watching at home, that is the pitching, right? So Dan Straley gets a little bit more off the corner. Francisco Cervelli doesn't think it's a strike. Is told it is a strike. What's Dan Straley do? He goes right back out there with another slider. It's a pretty good pitch closer to the corner, but Cervelli offers at it. Probably wouldn't have swung at that pitch had not the first pitch been called a strike.
0-2. That is out.
See how Francisco Cervelli's feet are even walking towards that outside corner. Dan Straley's actually got him set up for anything, maybe that front door slider or a 2-seam fastball on the inside part of the plate, because Cervelli is so aware of the outside corner right now.
There's that block by Real Muto. Good crowd tonight. University of Miami night here on a Saturday. Marlins and Pirates. And so far they've watched a pitching duel. Ivan Nova, the former Yankee, and Dan Straley.
Straley's pitch count up near 92.
Misses with a fastball up, and from 0-2 to 3-2.
Well, that's been the difference. Pirate hitters the last 2. Cervelli and Polanco both falling behind and then not going for the bait. That's what Dan Straley wants you to do, as any pitcher does. Wants you to go outside your happy zone with 2 strikes.
In. He walked him. And the Pirates have another run. And so the question is that it for Straley? And Don Mattingly is on his way out. It was all going so well until here in the 6th. 26 pitches this inning. And 3 consecutive walks.
Yeah, you saw right there on the 3-2 pitch, a front door slider. Tried to get that same pitch that he got on Josh Harrison. Not able to get it.
Ziegler coming in to face Jaso. It's 2-0 Pirates. Dan Straley, who pitched well all night until he had 1 out, nobody on in the 6th. And the Pirates get a run, a bases loaded walk, his 3rd consecutive walk. And that brings Ziegler in to face Jaso. And this will be a fascinating matchup. You've got Ziegler, who gets more strikes and outs out of the strike zone than anybody in baseball. And Jaso, who long has been known for great strike zone recognition. There's no place to put him here. Bags are loaded. Ziegler goes right after him and gets a strike.
Said I'm betting on Z. Numbers tell me to. Jaso off to a slow start this year. You see at 105 batting average. Ziegler not so much. He's been absolutely outstanding. Sub-1 ERA already. Ground ball machine.
Pitch misses out.
Getting back to your point on Straley, just kind of wrap that up. You know, even in this inning, what Dan Straley has been doing so well over the last couple of starts kind of became problematic in the 6th inning, and you saw it in his pitch selection. Trusts those off-speed pitches so much. Throw them at any count. You saw what happened there towards the end. Went to the slider in a tough spot. Didn't get the call. Sometimes that happens. You know, when you've got that arsenal of pitches and you're leaning on all of them to get the strikes that you need throughout a baseball game. If there's that one moment where you don't, you start to see what sometimes happens, even with Dan Straley right there. 3 consecutive walks.
Look at that, 22
just
ground
silly.
On the ground and just 3 in the air.
That's why you see everybody in the infield take a jump step right before the pitch is thrown.
1-2.
Anticipating a ground ball.
Well, Ziegler, that's the changeup at 75, and he's thrown it twice in this at bat, and he's missed out with it. That 83-mile-an-hour sinking fastball has been the 2 pitches where he's had strikes.
Well, he might throw a frisbee right here.
Off speed, that changeup dies in the dirt, and again, there's no place to put Jaso, who has a very critical eye at the plate. Jordy Mercer on deck.
He doesn't want to see 4 consecutive walks.
3-2. Missed. Ball 4. Jaso walks. And the Pirates lead is now 3-0.
Let's take a look at it. Bottom of the zone. Right there. Borderline pitch. Sometimes you fall into that pattern. You know, even umpires do it. You see it all the time. If you're getting pitches, they're giving pitches. And if there's that rhythm there, you know, you continue to get them throughout the game. But a couple of really close pitches don't go the Marlins' way.
So here's Mercer now. There's still only 1 out. What a frustrating inning. Single and 4 walks. And a bouncer. Gordon backhands. Echeverria turns in time for the double play. But the Pirates walk through with 2 more. And it's 3-0. Justin Bour. Earlier today, before everybody was here, Justin Bour with Don Mattingly, Mike Pagliarulo working on the tee, working on middle out, and that was the hit into left field. The similarity of swings. So we put our Todd Hollinsworth, a left-handed hitter in the major leagues, to work. And in our demo room, Todd, what were they working on and what was the result?
Well, they were working on their line, and that's the important thing. We know that Justin Bour lately has been pulling the ball. Last night, 2 rockets to the right side. Well, let me give you a game plan for what he was looking to do tonight. You talked about letting that ball get deep. What I want to show you is where the tee would be. If I was looking to pull a baseball, I'd put the ball out in front. That's what he would be looking to do. Justin Bour would want to get that ball out in front right there where he can get his arms extended. Okay, what did he do tonight? And what did you see in his video where he was working earlier today? The tee was deeper, down the line, back towards the corner of home plate. Why? As he sets up, that ball's got to track. It's got to come deeper into the hitting zone. And what's he practicing? Just what you saw, keeping those hands inside the baseball right there. And you see that line. If I were to take a full swing, I'd knock it right back into your television set right now and kind of line it right back over there. And that's what he did for a big base hit.
Here's another look at it, Todd. Talk us through what you see.
Yeah, you watch it right there. You see what he's looking to do. Where do those hands go? Just like I'm showing you on the tee in here, and what you see Justin Bour doing right there is staying through the baseball. It's leading with the hands. Now, you've heard the phrase rolling over. Let me show you what rolling over looks like. You'd hit it like this, and your hands would start to turn over as you make contact with the ball. That ball would then go on the ground. That's the exact same pitch, but that's not the swing that you want. The swing that you want, and the one that Justin Bour was practicing, was the one where the ball gets deeper. And as I said, that tee has to be almost off your front leg, as you saw Justin Bour doing right there.
Josh Harrison with a catch. Great stuff in the demo room. Nicely done. Our Todd Hollinsworth. How about that look from Josh Harrison on a D. Gordon bunt attempt? Oh, wow. That ball right in the webbing of his glove. Look how close that is to popping out. He's a terrific player, adds a lot of energy, and he's good defensively wherever he plays. So an Ichiro fly ball out, a D. Gordon pop out on a bunt. And Ivan Nova just keeps on keeping on. Martin Prado has doubled and bounced out. And the way Nova's throwing the baseball, the Marlins seemingly best hope is to get him out of the game. But look at the pitch count. 66 pitches. He's got 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th.
Well, partner, I'll tell you what. He's thrown 4 games this year. He's already thrown CG against the St. Louis Cardinals on April 17th. And in that complete game, 78 pitches. Shows you how efficient he's been, and clearly, again, efficient tonight. He is on pace for that. Marlins, at this stage, you almost think maybe a little bit more of an aggressiveness early in the count. Maybe that good fastball that you get might give you some better results. But you look at the damage. I mean, 67 pitches through 6 innings and 2 down. I mean, he's in position right now to continue to go back out there.
Strike to Prado, and it's 2-2. Just 2 hits for Miami. This is your first foray into the area back there with home plate. What kind of hitter's environment is it?
I like it. Like I said, if I would have actually taken a full swing and stayed through the baseball, I would have sent a baseball home with everybody through the television set.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
Either that or you would have taken Chip out.
Well, it's a possibility.
We can't afford losing Chip.
You know, there's a story there I can tell you.
Or Bobby.
You want a story? No, this isn't the right time for a story.
Not 2-2 with 2 outs. Nova again on a comebacker. That story will come your way in about 2 minutes. 9-pitch inning for Ivan Nova. And a 3-0 lead for the Pirates tonight. Florida brings you an inside look. Pirates pitching from 2016, 2017 on the road. Look at the ERA at 2.78 earned run average. The whip is low. The average against is low, and of course that means the OPS is low as well. And it has shown up here in this series. Ivan Nova tonight, Jamison Tyone last night, along with Johnny Barbado, the Miami kid, and Wade LeBlanc.
Well, that's trusting your stuff. I mean, you see the bottom little line right there says 13 for 20 first pitch strikes. That's pretty good, but that's not over the top dominant. A lot of times you'll see 18, 19 guys getting a good rhythm. That just shows you how quickly he gets back into account.
David Phelps now arrives at the number 8 spot in the Pirates order. Ngope, Nova, and Harrison for the Pirates. And Ngope fouls it off. Not a lot of success in the minor leagues as a hitter. He's always been known as a great defender. He's been voted as the best defensive infielder in the Pirates system for the last 3-4 years. Phelps gets a strike. It's 0-2. Tomorrow, Craig will sit down on Marlins Live with this 27-year-old South African. Having seen a peek of that tonight, it's something you don't want to miss. 12:30 start for Marlins Live. 1 o'clock Marlins Pirates. Ichiro's 3,000 ceremony tomorrow. We will carry it live as well. One and two. Ngope fouls it off. For Phelps, facing the Pirates is always fun. His wife's family from Pittsburgh. He now lives in the offseason in Pittsburgh. Phelps grew up in the St. Louis area, played his college ball at Notre Dame.
So Phelps is being very deliberate tonight, pacing himself. Well documented some of the struggles that he's kind of worked through this year, and one of them is, and you hear this an awful lot, especially with guys who come out of the bullpen, changing that timing, that rhythm. Sometimes it's in between pitches. You see him taking that extra deep breath between each pitch.
Three and two. Ivan Nova on deck. He and Phelps, of course, teammates with the Yankees. It's out. And Ngope on his way down to first, and another walk for the Marlins. 4 walks in that 6th inning, and a walk to open up here in the 7th. Every Monday this season, a special flash offer of the week will be unveiled, giving fans the opportunity to save big on tickets, merchandise, and much more. Stay tuned Monday for a special offer. Visit marlins.com/offer for more details. Nova trying to bunt, takes outside. Joey Cora down at third base, flashing the signs.
Pretty clear what the Pirates want to do right here with Nova.
There's Joey.
thing that he has not done since coming over from the Yankees, despite pitching incredibly well, Nova, is handle the bat all that well.
That's a good bunt. And Board's going to go to first in time to get Nova. And Gope is now at second. And Phelps goes after the top of the order. The two Joshes, Harrison and Bell. Hope you enjoyed Charles Johnson. We sure did in the booth. On an All-Star Saturday. Every Saturday home game will be an All-Star Saturday leading up to July 11th. The All-Star game on Fox. We will have a Marlins All-Star with us. I think it's tradition. We're going to have to get them into the demo area.
I like it. Well, you just see the knowledge start to ooze out of them. If you kind of get some ball players together and they start talking shop, and it's amazing. I looked at CJ at first and I was like, will you get down and show us pop time? And he was kind of like, he was engaged. He was willing to kind of consider it. But then I kind of started talking. I said, JT's got this great pop time, and I started talking 1/7 and 1/9. He started talking 1/7 and 1/9. All of a sudden, it was like, yeah, all right, let's do this.
Ball and a strike to Harrison. 0 for 3 for him. The Pirates have just 4 hits, but 3 runs to go with it. Miami just 2 hits against Nova. Realmuto on his way out to visit with Phelps, quickly checking the scores. We told you today the Mets beat the Nationals again, beating Steven Strasburg. 5-3 was the final. Atlanta is getting the best of Milwaukee so far, 5-1, bottom 5 in Milwaukee. The Phillies are out in Los Angeles. Phillies are a game over. They lost last night and snapped their win streak. Prado to his left. On patrol, fires to first. Harrison is out. 2 outs, and here comes Josh Bell.
A lot of talk around the National League. Certainly over the last couple days, Mets playing better. That Nationals lineup, boy, oh boy, have they just been scoring runs at an incredible pace. And then the loss of Adam Eaton. The 3 top spots in RBIs. Goodness gracious. Zimmerman with 27, Harper with 25, Murphy with 25, and to think that they just lost Eaton.
Now Bell is 1 for 3. Pirates got a run in the 2nd, and then 2 in the 6th.
Bell's base hit in the 6th inning. He's now reached base in 13 consecutive games. You see him closer to the top of the lineup. It's kind of where he projects. Last night he was a little bit farther down.
Gope the runner at second, and the 1-1.
Outstanding cut fastball right there by Phelps. Kept it outside the zone and brought it back in.
Bouncer in the hole at short. Echeverria got him. Great play. He was shaded behind second. Ventured to his right. An accurate throw. And David Phelps works a scoreless 7. In Miami tonight, big crowd, University of Miami night, All-Star Saturday night, all of that. And a lot of Ivan Nova, who's pitching like an all-star. Some changes. John Jaso comes from right into first. Just called up is Danny Ortiz, and he's in right field. And so Ortiz enters in the ball game in the spot of Josh Bell. Nova still going strong. Yelich is up. Shortens the bunt, takes a strike.
At the middle of the lineup for the Marlins, up against Nova. Third pass. See the pitch count. That's not the case. But you need to worry about that if you're the Marlins.
Yelich squaring again, which he was serious about it. Counts 2-0.
Give him a little bit of a different look, just trying to change it up, get something going offensively, put some pressure on Nova. Been a fairly pressure-free outing for him.
We talked about it last night. The shift that the Pirates have against Yelich. It's not something we see a lot of. Pirates are very aggressive with their shifts. Look how far off the line Harrison is.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, even in last night's ball game, we think back to the line drive back through the middle that they were able to field. Easy base hit. Anybody else, it was a base hit. Jordy Mercer was playing behind second base back, caught the ball. Christian Yelich picked up a base hit later in the ball game by a vacated shortstop position because Jordy Mercer was behind second base again. So you tell me, you want to put the shift on or not?
Yelich pulls it. Jaso backing up, hustles to the bag and gets the out. And Nova just keeps on filling up the strike zone, getting outs. He throws the fewest pitches per inning than anybody else in Major League Baseball. He's averaging just 12.5 pitches an inning. That's the lowest in the game. And there's your box score. The Prado double in the first, the Bohr single that led off the fifth. Stanton is struck out and popped out. 1 a strike to Stanton. He fouls it at the plate. 1-2. Breaking ball in. What's different about Nova? I mean, you saw him as a Yankee. You see him now. What's changed?
Two things I can think of right off the top. One, injuries. I mean, again, the consistency in the rotation. I think number two that you get at, and it's pretty obvious. I mean, he's not walking hitters. He's just being more aggressive. The one thing that you recognize in numbers and what it tells you is that he's been way more aggressive with his fastball. See it right there.
Well, visually, Christian Roberts, our director, showed you another thing that's different about him, and that's Ray Searage,
right?
Who he's had a chance to work with at the end of last year and the start of this year.
And we talked about that, again last night. Hitters many times, or excuse me, pitchers many times will become Pirates and find themselves or refine their stuff. And even I remember, I think it was Greg Holland, I think it was last year, talking to him. He wanted to be a Pirate because he wanted to work with Ray Searage. I mean, that's just such a testimony.
Bohr over the middle. That's exactly where Mercer was playing. And he throws him out. And Nova goes 1, 2, 3 in the 7th. His pitch count still low. It's an 81. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Charles Johnson stopped by, jumped in the demo room, talked catching, talked all-star experience. Junichi Tozawa in for Miami. It's another frustrating night for the Fish. Tonight it's been Ivan Nova. It's not just all about the U tonight. Nova, a guy that has been brilliant as a Pirate, is all of that tonight. Lowering his ERA under 2. And here is Andrew McCutchen.
For Tozawa, you want to see first pitch strikes, whether he uses the big breaking ball or his fastball to get ahead. Set up that split finger fastball, especially here in the middle of the lineup. You got Andrew McCutchen leading off, as you said. Flacco and Cervelli to follow.
By the way, last night we left the show, and maybe one or two of you hanging. It was a 12-2 game. It was a runaway early, so we, of course, lost control of the telecast about the 5th or 6th inning. But we were asking about the largest comeback in the 9th inning in baseball history. There have been a pair of 8-run deficits erased. McCutcheon. High pop-up against Tazawa. And Bohr makes the catch. So 8 was the magic number.
And of course the Yankees did what they did to the Baltimore Orioles.
It's a big series. Look, okay, we're not even to May yet, and I'm dropping a big series, but
well, it's interdivision, right? I get what you're saying.
Top of the division, right. Orioles, Yankees.
Well, I was just more impressed with the Yankees comeback. I just thought it all tied itself in together nicely. I mean, you know, to see what happened. Joe Girardi and the crew up there getting it done. Matt Holliday, new Yankee.
Remember when they made that commercial with Albert Pujols when he was in St. Louis, and the tagline was, "I'm not a machine."
With the copier, right?
I'm not a machine. I always felt that Holliday was more of a machine than Pujols.
Well, I know Matt. I knew Matt all the way back when he was a minor leaguer in the Rockies system, and I think just about any of us and anyone who knew him would predict his success at the major league level. I'll tell you, he was a hard worker and determined and had as much power as anybody, especially to the opposite field. In fact, that's what he did yesterday 2 days ago to get the win.
Here's a 1-1. And Polanco did just what you demonstrated. He rolled over on one. And there are 2 outs. What year were you the Rookie of the Year for the Dodgers?
1996.
Oh, okay. So you missed it. One of the great comebacks, the 2 great comebacks in Major League Baseball. The Phillies were down 8 in Los Angeles in 1990 and came back to win it 12-11.
Right.
And then the Indians in 34. I know you missed that one. They were down 8.
That's where you were going with that.
And they came back to beat Philadelphia. And that would be the Philadelphia Athletics. It was in 1934. Cervelli walked with the bases loaded. 2 bases loaded walks in the 6th. One issued by Dan Straley, one by Brad Ziegler. Etch has it, slides, pops, throws. That is nice. Danny Echevarria going to his left. Great defense. But tonight, Miami needs some offense. They are down 3-0. Sebastian is here tonight. Your cold hard facts are brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. What is it about the weekends and Clint Hurdle's Pirates? Look at what they are from Monday through Thursday. And what was that really bad song from the 80s, Working for the Weekend? Is that Night Ranger or something?
It's the only time they work is on Friday through Sunday.
Loverboy, sorry. My apologies to Night Ranger. Here's Osuna. And he pulls one wide of third.
I mean, I don't even know what to do with that. I mean, it, you know, and again, you look at a number, you look at those numbers and you just kind of giggle, because that stuff happens all the time, has for years. You know, that stuff will always end up in the dugout. And you don't really have a way of explaining it. I mean, do you want me to sit here and tell you that the Pirates pay more attention on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday than they do Monday through Thursday? I mean, that's just not the case.
I don't know. I mean, what? Because they're playing on Fridays, they probably don't party on Thursdays.
Again,
it's a pretty good pitch from Nova.
Even if you're trying to come up with a logical explanation for this, you can't.
Bullpen active. Lefty Felipe Rivero for Pittsburgh. Ivan Nova has not needed any relief tonight, shutting down the Marlins on just 2 hits. Ozuna cracks one in the gap left center field. Polanco there to cut it off. And that has to feel good for Marcell Ozuna.
Let's take another look at it. That's what you do with a 2-seam fastball out over the plate. Cut it off before it gets to your hands. Get the barrel on it right there. Rocking into left center field. Hopefully that gets him going. Sounding that even better.
Well, that's a start. Here's Real Muto. And you got Echeverria in the pitcher spot due up. Real Muto, a bouncer. Harrison diving stop, the turn, and he's out. Josh Harrison's had quite a night at third base. 5-4-3 and a bang-banger at first base.
Yeah, let's see if he beats it.
Nope. He's out.
Interior of the glove just before the foot hits the bag. Josh Harrison has made his money tonight defensively. See the tremendous stop right there. The quick step with Gope. Fire back across to Jaso. My goodness gracious. One pitch later, too, by the way.
No challenge, no runners, no runs. Just 3 hits. Ozuna's single, Justin Bour a single, Prado a double. And Echeverria, first pitch swinging into right. Ortiz is there, makes the catch. That's a 6-pitch inning in the 8th for Ivan Nova. hits for Miami. And for the Marlins, a struggle here tonight. MLB.TV is back better than ever. Every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. You get a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.com for details. A.J. Ramos. Ramos pitching here in the ninth. Jaso, Mercer, and Ngope.
That earned run average down, 386 right there, 3 for 3 in save opportunities. Obviously not a save situation. Almost just trying to keep things at 3. Give the Marlins an opportunity in the bottom of the ninth.
Jaso, right center field and deep. Stanton at a full sprint, and it is on the top of the wall and gone. That is a home run. Jaso can slow down, and he does finally. He was going full bore until he heard that it was out of here, and hit off the old wall right above the Mikasuki sign and came back out on the field.
Jaso gets a first pitch fastball. You see it just get over the wall. The top just below the railing right there.
Yeah, anything over the sign is gone. You can see there's separation where Stanton's arm disappears there. So 4-0. Jaso, who was slumping coming into this ball game, 4 for 36 to start his season, has a home run now.
Jumped on a first pitch fastball. A.J. Ramos.
That one smoked to left. Jordy Mercer has a hit. 2 for 4 is Mercer. Ramos greeted rudely here in the ninth.
Well, you're also seeing what the Pirates have done this entire series, which is jump on a lot of fastballs. And when those fastball counts come along, they're putting some of their best swings on them. And Straley able to mix it up tonight. And that's kind of what you saw. And you kind of keep at least this team in check or in this game and at the point of respectability. You've seen here, A.J. Ramos comes in, a couple fastball counts, has been hit hard.
And Gope has bounced out, flied out, and walked. Ramos gets a strike.
Another breaking ball from Ramos. You see 2 consecutive.
One and 2. Ivan Nova is on deck. Seven career complete games. 3 of those threw less than 100 pitches.
He's done that once already this year. I told you a little bit earlier, April 17th versus the Cardinals. 78 pitches.
Of course, the Marlins right now have the longest drought in Major League history. What is it, 420 some games for the Marlins without a complete game? There have been 10 complete games thrown in baseball this year. It looks like Nova's going to get a shot at number 11, which would be his second. That's strike 3 called. Gope caught looking.
PJ Ramos, front door breaking ball. We've seen a few of these tonight. It's the one pitch that's kind of worked on these Pirate hitters. Just catches the edge right there. Seeing Gope kind of bail on it a little bit. Turn those hands back away from it. See? Nice job holding that in the strike zone.
Nova squares to bunt. Try to move Mercer up 90 feet. Ramos misses inside. There's the bunt. Real Muto's going to go to second. Oh, that's a terrific pick by Echeverria. He was thinking 2 and then realized at the last minute if he could just get the out at second, that would be good enough.
Well, I'll tell you, he had to do everything to hold on to this throw down at second base. JT does a fantastic job getting out quick. Look at that right there. Throw comes up a little short. It's in between hot. Etch, great pick right there. Still was even thinking about trying to get one across the diamond. Get that double play. Probably better he held on.
Harrison now, he's 0 for 4, but he's impacted the game with his glove. He had the diving catch on a D. Gordon bunt attempt, and then that lunging stop to start a double play that finished both Ozuna and Real Muto in the 8th inning. Oh, 2.
Let's try with the slider right there. Harrison to chase outside the strike zone. Certainly breaking ball on the mind.
Miami will have 9-1-2 up in the bottom of the inning. It looks like Ivan Nova's going after a complete game. Marlins have already used Ichiro as a pinch hitter. I think Derek Dietrich would be the guy to get that call. Stanton back and there and makes the catch. 4-0 Pirates, bottom 9. Brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep. Get a great deal on a Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. 4-0. Pirates on top of the Marlins, bottom 9 for the Fish. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. We invite you tomorrow to get to the ballpark early or come join us early. 12:30 for Marlins Live. Ichiro's 3,000 hit celebration will be honored pregame tomorrow. We will cover it live here on Fox Sports Florida. Number 3,000 for Ichiro. So Ichiro's honored tomorrow. We'll carry that live. We've also got on the pregame show Craig sit down with Gift Ngope.
Looking forward to that.
Which should be terrific. And then the Marlins, obviously tomorrow, if the Fish are going to pull out of it, tomorrow's a day to do it on a Sunday. Right now the Pirates are 3 outs away from a Ivan Nova shutout.
Well, Nova has done this before, and he's doing it once again. They're going to have to find a way to break through. Listen, you got 3 outs to play with. Let's not, you still got maybe make something happen in this ball game, although Nova is right there, and he's been there before. So we'll see what he does, but looking for those fastballs.
Derek Dietrich now, it's not often a starting pitcher gets to the 9th at 87 pitches. That was number 88 for Nova. Dietrich to right, deep, down the line, and foul. Watch the ball, see if it crosses in front.
It does.
It does.
That's unfortunate. Good swing right there. Dietrich. Well, you know what he's going to bring, Nova, certainly at this point of the game.
Dietrich blasts that to center. McCutchen to the track, and he makes the catch. 400 feet from home plate. There's 1 out, and here's D. Gordon. So 90 pitches, 25 outs. And right now a 3-hit shutout.
Right. Well, you just try to find a way. You know he's near the end regardless. I mean, you've only got 2 outs to play with, but if you can make something happen, maybe get a couple guys in scoring position, at least force Clint Hurdle to think about getting into that bullpen and maybe just change it up.
Gordon, a little dribbler. Nova has it. Wow. The outs are coming quickly now. 91 pitches. And Nova trying to get to the finish line here. Martin Prado is the hitter.
Kind of spoke to that aggressiveness about the 6th inning. He was about 60 pitches, and again, still firing in tons and tons of strikes. Mixing in the occasional changeup, the occasional breaking ball. Marlins, I don't want to say somewhat predictably, but in my mind, probably we're thinking he's throwing tons of strikes. We need to be more aggressive, and you're seeing that play out right now.
Strike to Prado.
I think it just gets to the effect of his 2-seam fastball, because you see how he's challenging hitters right now. He's just throwing pitches out over the plate, but it still has so much good late movement on it down in the zone.
Well, I mean, he's had 5 starts of this. His ERA was right at 2 coming in, and it's dropped a half a run already. He's at 1.51. Seven strikeouts. He hasn't walked anybody, and now, I mean, he's going to be at 36 innings and have just 1 walk this year.
Well, I mean, this is what the National League saw of him last year when he came over, and it was almost instantaneous. When you look at the numbers, I mean, it really has been amazing of what he's accomplished in the Pirates uniform.
Right back to him. Ivan Nova throws a gem here tonight in Miami. A complete game, 3 hits.